Hello, good people, and welcome to the To Be Encouraged podcast with Bishop Julius C. Trimble. This is the podcast where we look to offer an encouraging word to an often discouraged world. I'm your co-host, Reverend Dr. Brad Miller. Bishop Trimble, as we record this, we are a week or so away from Christmas Day of 2025, and so what do you think? Are you ready for Christmas? Was one question. And then are you really ready for the true meaning of Christmas as opposed to what maybe commercialism, things like that? Look, happy Christmas time to you, my friend.
Hey, blessed Christmas and Advent to you, and happy holy days of this season, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad,
All right. All right.
blessed Christmas. But I really want to focus on the distinction between the commercialization of holidays and those of us who are followers of Jesus, who claim Christmas as a central part of our faith story. The prophet and the Old Testament writer Isaiah, the 7th chapter, the 4th verse, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son and will call him Emmanuel, which translated, Brad, you know this, God with us.
God with us indeed.
So the birth of the Messiah, the promised one, came to us through the Old Testament and was realized and recorded in the New Testament. But we celebrate that as a sacred holy day, the culmination, if you will, of Advent with the birth of Christ, the lighting of the Christ candle. And on Christmas Eve, many of us go to worship services where we light candles. So I think there's something to be said for reclaiming a simple joy of Christmas that isn't so stress producing as the commercialized holiday is.
Sure. Well, we certainly have the comparison between the holidays, all the glitz and glamour, all the Hallmark shows. I think Uh, I think, Julius, I
Mm.
think I saw somewhere during the holiday season that there are something like 300, uh, uh, you know, holiday Christmas themed television shows alone, just like on the Hallmark Channel and other places like that, let alone the other things that we have. So certainly have commercialization of Christmas, certainly have a lot of things going in that way. And sometimes the holy day of the birth of Jesus gets swallowed up in that. Tell me, give me an example. So I think something triggered this in you. Did you see some example of the commercialization or the holiday of Christmas kind of consuming the holy day? Have you seen some example of that in your own experience
Well, I see
recently?
that I see that with the proliferation of online shopping and
Yes.
the magnitude of marketing and commercialization, whether it's, the K-pop,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, or whatever the newest toy is. I'm not bad mouthing or really, I don't think I don't wanna criticize people who shop, and I have a grandchild, and I don't think that in and of itself is wrong. I'm simply saying that there are simple ways to really elevate the holy day and the holy seasons apart from just
Yes.
shopping. As a pastor used to say, one of my pastors used to say, he said, "Christmas is a time when you spend money you don't have to buy things that you don't need to impress people that you don't like." And so,
Love that. I love that. My
uh,
goodness.
so, so I would just say, one of the things I'm looking forward to this holiday, and I really wish I would have claimed this much sooner, was the joy of just being with some family members. I can't be with all of my family members, even not all of our children. We'll be in different places. But to be together with family and to enjoy a meal together, to enjoy conversation, light a candle at the house, light some candles at the house. And, there's some simple things, and we can
Yeah,
talk about that more in it, but there's some simple things we can do that I think that could reclaim, what I call a simple joy. The
sure.
gift, for example, Brad, the gift of giving yourself a walk walk outside,
Yes.
WALK,
Right.
as in if you're someplace where it's below 0, maybe not,
Yeah.
but if it's a sunny like today, it's a sunny day, it's a little cool, and when I last time I checked with my wife, it was sunny but cool in Indiana,
Yeah.
but it's not such that I couldn't when I get back home, if we wanna put on our coats and go for a little walk. We don't have a dog. A lot of people have dogs, and you see them out walking.
Right.
Something as simple as that, Brad. Um,
Well, I know that that's one of the things my wife and I enjoy doing. If it's decent weather, we're out almost every day for about a mile or so walk and really enjoy that. And there's no, we don't have the earbuds on and all that kind of stuff. And we just enjoy other people. And certainly, we've here in Indiana, we've had snow here recently. It's been beautiful to see it. You may or may not want to take a walk in the snow, but certainly it's beautiful to see the snow. But I think part of what you're talking about here is find a new pathway that is not so cluttered or so noisy. Find a pathway. And one of the things I love how you have termed this season is finding a Advent Christmas pathway to peace. So, what do you think about that? What are some ways that people can do that, find their own pathway towards a peaceful acknowledgement of this holy time?
One thing I think, Brad, is to acknowledge there are things in the world, and I think about this when I see the news or see all of the posts that are people are putting on social media. There's so many things in the world, in our society that we cannot control. I
Yes,
realized that. I woke up this morning and said, "Boy, I can't control what Robert Kennedy is doing, some of these things that I think I totally disagree
just
with. I find them upsetting
yeah,
relative to health and human services, and whether it's access to care for transgender young people, or whether it's confusion around vaccinations and the proliferation of now measles in certain places that is
right,
coming back. But then I realized I can't really control that, and Christmas is coming pretty quickly. But there are some things I can control. For example, waking up this in the morning or and playing music that brings me joy. My
there you go.
wife and sometimes I get pulled in. My wife likes these Christmas Lifetime movies that
Oh
that
yeah,
that
right,
are, and Hallmark movies, the Hallmark Channel, and some of
right,
them I get pulled into them.
of
Some of them
course,
have a good message around doing something for others, which I think is something we can claim.
yeah,
If you're in a position, to do something for others or do something with others, that really elevates, I think, the message of the gospel in Luke and the prophet Isaiah, who says that a baby shall be born and will be named Emmanuel, meaning God is with us.
God is with us.
If God is with
Well,
us, maybe we can find time to be with others in ways which are helpful to them.
I think you make some really good points there. There's nothing inherently wrong with a lot of the Christmas traditions of the Hallmark movies, and a lot of them have good sentiment. And there's not even really anything wrong with celebrating with toys and Christmas trees and all that good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But if that consumes you and that becomes all it's all about, then that's not where what really the Christian message is all about. And one of the things I understand is you really are trying to speak to, because we know we are here about to offer an encouraging word to discourage people. But at Christmas time, there's a lot of people experiencing stress and discouragement, aren't there? And
Yes.
we need to be able to respond to their discouragement and to their stresses with those things that delight us and are joyful, but also let's be focused in on what gives true sustaining hope, which is the birth of Jesus. Can you speak to that, my friend?
Yeah, I think the birth of Jesus is a message uh, directed to all of us, to all of you, that you are loved by God. It's not just that God so loved the whole world that he gave his only begotten son to be crucified. God gave his son to be born so that God could be with us and affirm us, and affirm our sacred worth, your sacred worth, as a beloved child of God. You are a beloved child of God, forgiven by God, embraced by God. And I think we could one of the things we could do, Brad, is tell people we love them. Tell people we love them by our actions, tell them by our words, and celebrate and elevate those things that are really that add more positivity to life. Whether
Yeah.
that's sharing a meal, or whether that's sharing a positive, email message. Um, I didn't send out Christmas cards this year, but I
Okay.
sent out a number of messages to people and said, "Listen, thinking about you," and I tried to affirm as many people that I work with and have come in contact with this season, and I will do that right up through the end of the year when
Well,
I'm
that's
sure I'll see somebody at the grocery store, when I'm checking out of the grocery store, and so forth. So words of affirmation are gifts of joy, and I think really speak to the Holy One. Um, what if
well,
we replace some of the stress that we bring upon ourselves, and realize, okay, maybe I can't give my child everything that I did not have, but we can give our children and grandchildren, Brad, something we do have. So my parents, I'm one of 6 children. I didn't always get what I wanted, everything I wanted for Christmas,
right.
but my parents made sure we were able to go to church on Christmas Eve. My parents made sure we were able to eat, have a meal. So give if we can give our children and those we love what we do have, and that's a faith in God and a faith and belief in themselves. We shouldn't overstress about, well, I can't this new video game is, 300 something bucks or, so let's not put pressure on
Right.
ourselves about something that people won't remember 10 years from now anyway.
I think it's also a place here, an opportunity here at Christmas time to instill the values that we adhere to as Christians. Things like faith and hope and joy and kindness and love and the fruits of the spirits, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. These are opportunities here for us to impart these values on people that then may be symbolized in some thing or act at Christmas time, but it may be is singing a song or drawing a picture or baking cookies, something that, that's what my wife likes to do with our granddaughters is they bake cookies and they bake Christmas cookies and things like that. Simple, inexpensive thing to do. But you know what it is? It's an experience of sharing and of kindness and of maternal grandmother with her grandchildren, experiencing that together and those common experiences. Don't you think it might be cool? And one of the things you mentioned here is you and your family are going to Christmas Eve service to light candles. So experiences make a it's part those warm memories part of what this is all about too, don't you think?
It's absolutely, I mean, making memories, people may not remember. I think Maya Angelou said people may not remember everything you said, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And I would say this Christmas, this Advent season, this Christmas, how can we help make people feel a little bit better and make ourselves feel better about ourselves? One of the exercise that I've been encouraged to do, and I need to do it more, and that is to start my day with deep breathing.
Mm,
So
okay.
we wake up in the morning with the ability to inhale and exhale. And I had several members, some close associate pastor of mine who suffered from COPD,
Okay.
pulmonary disease, and so breathing was a major thing just to be able to have breath,
Right.
and we take that for granted, Brad. So what if we, as one of our Christmas gifts to ourselves, say, "I'm gonna sit down in the morning and just take deep inhale, exhale. Thank God on the inhale, praise God on the exhale."
There you
Something
go.
as simple as that. That I didn't have to go to my wallet. I didn't have to go to my credit card. I didn't have
That's
to
right.
go to my online account to do that. God gave me breath, and so I'm gonna use that and count that as a gift. We've already talked about walking, the walking, lighting candles, um, maybe designating some time. I have someone who said one of the things they've done is they designate a time where they are not on any devices. So between a
Yeah.
certain time, you know, not gonna be on my cell phone, not gonna be on my
Right.
laptop. I'm not gonna be playing, games, computer games, video games, a time that's set aside for something other than that. I remember going to maybe I told you this years ago, we went to a restaurant, not that long ago, in California, a breakfast place, a popular breakfast place, and, on the when you walk in, the sign said, "We don't have Wi-Fi, don't ask."
Right.
And it said the second line said, "Talk with each other like it's 1985."
There you
So
go. I love that. I love that. Well, I think it's one of the things to do is, I think what you're getting at here is have storytelling, family
mhm.
stories. Tell the story, the birth of Jesus. Read the story from the Bible. We make a habit of that when our grandchildren are here, when our children and grandchildren are with us to at our Christmas gathering, our family one. We make sure we read
Well,
the
we
re,
have that in common, Brad. We do the
yeah,
same thing. You
read
know,
the
we
biblical.
our granddaughters, we well, in fact, even when with our children, before we had any grandchildren,
Yeah,
we, did that. That's a great tradition. Reading from Luke. Luke
right.
says, um, "Do not be afraid." The angel said, "Do not be afraid, for I'm bringing you good news." We
Good
forget
news.
that the
That's
news
right.
that came was good news, and not only that, then it says, "Good news of great joy."
Yes.
Good
Well,
news of great joy for all the people. Did you
yeah,
hear that, Brad? Not for some of the people, but for all of the
all
people.
the people. Yeah.
You this day is born in the city of David a Savior who is the Messiah of the Lord. This will be a sign for you, a child wrapped in bands of cloth lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts praising God, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those whom God favors."
Wow. There's no greater story. No greater story to tell. We can tell the other stories. We can tell, like, like people read the story the night before Christmas, and
Mhm.
about Santa Claus and so on. That's a great story. But there's no greater story than the story that you just read there, the story, the nativity story, the birth of Jesus. And I think one of the really cool things about this story here, it is a common story that's applicable to all people, but it is also a personal story. Jesus was born for us personally as a personal Christmas gift, as it were, but it is also then available to all people. And so, as you just read there, it came.
This is not a rich man's story either.
Oh
So
no,
if you're not rich, you can this is not a person with documented paper story. If you're an immigrant, uh,
yeah,
you can read this story. So this is a story I think that we all can connect with and recognize that not only are we loved, and not only can we love others and support and serve others, but we can know that we are enough. You are enough.
mm.
And sometimes that message is not always communicated well.
Well, yes, it is not a rich man's story. It is a story that is applicable to all people, and you are enough. I'm interested in a story from your own life, then, Julius, about how you've seen that transformation or seen kind of a Christmas miracle of some sort, either in your personal life and one of your churches or somewhere you saw, okay, here's an aha moment that somebody gets it,
Mm,
or there's something really awesome that happened here. Maybe it was in a candlelight service, maybe it was in your family, some Christmas story that comes to mind.
mm. Oh, wow. Uh, well, I remember the first church that I served, first full time church I served, was Emmanuel United Methodist
There
Church.
you go.
And so at least twice a year, but always on Christmas Eve, I would talk about the name of our church and
Yeah.
the meaning of that name of God with us. I never will forget that one of our members, lay couple, he was a recently retired from the Navy, and his wife was um, an active bookkeeper. She was an accountant and bookkeeper. She was from India. He was from the U.S., Midwest U.S. but they always invited, his parents who lived out of state. This is in Illinois, who lived out of state. I think they lived, like, in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, but they would come to the Christmas Eve store, and this is with small membership church. They came to the Christmas Eve store, and they said the reason they came was because we took so much time in decorating the church, the small sanctuary. We had the candelabras, and we added things to the pews, and the men came out and, what did they call it? The hanging of the greens and
Oh,
all of
yeah.
these.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
we went, it was very elaborate, uh, and, they came out, they said, because they thought our church was one of the most beautiful places, they'd ever been. And, if you
Yeah.
saw the church from the outside, you would say, "Well, it's like a small congregation, nothing spectacular about it." But we literally transformed the inside. Of course, everybody got candles for the candlelight service, and the music was special.
This special setting with the candelabras and the candlelight service, this couple was moved by it. So what was about that particular couple, that whole experience that you,
Well,
felt like was
I just thought it was fantastic. They were an older couple, but they made it their business to come, and they felt like they experienced in the beauty of the sanctuary, uh, the fact that people went why did we went through such extra effort to make
Yeah,
the sanctuary focus on Christmas and the birth of Christ and lights and candles, and we had all these extra candles that were in the church. And so I remember that just because, I've been to a lot more, having traveled to Israel and other places that, ornate sanctuaries, huge, big downtown churches, and so forth.
right,
And
right.
when I think about our small church, Emmanuel, I always say, my wife and I talk about this. We talk about this all the time. Say we had a small, not a big choir, but the choir could sing.
Yeah.
Some of these folks had been singing for a long time, and we really just worship, and the meaningful worship was a highlight. Now, it seems as though, other things have become the highlight other than
I
meaningful
I think
worship.
part of what you're leaning into with the experience you just shared and other things we've talked about here today is the, very intentional, aspect of building a beloved community. And yeah, I don't think you can build a beloved community without a focus. And I think the focus really is Christmas, the Christmas story. It's the impact of the incarnate God through Christ into the world. And
Mhm.
wow, that is the greatest joy ever. And that's how we start. That's the starting place of building a beloved community. So speak to that for a minute about building a beloved community with the Christmas story at the center of it.
I think building beloved community comes from really embracing the notion that we can't love God if we're not willing to expand that love to neighbor and to intentionally, accelerate, uh, uh, grace and mercy and joy and laughter. I think building beloved community means, the things that you mentioned, your wife doing, with your grandchildren, baking cookies,
Right, right.
making room for guests, uh, choosing not to, respond to negativity or name calling.
Yes.
Uh, we need not declare superiority over others, nor listen to the voice of external and internal saying that we're not good enough.
Mm,
I think
yes.
building beloved community begins with understanding that I'm not going to be debating my humanity with anyone because
Mm,
God has already settled that. Receiving the blessing from the Bible, from Psalm 139. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I know this full well because God, you knit me in my mother's womb. There's nothing about me or nothing about you that is not already ordained to be good and good enough. I
mm,
think building beloved community also says, what does it mean for us not to count difference as detriment, but diversity as divine gift. So I think the diversity of community, I'm talking about global community and
Sure.
our neighbor, is
Right.
really a divine gift of God. God didn't want us all to be exactly the same, but I think we all have the opportunity to really build relationships like you and I have built a
Sure.
relationship, Brad, over the
Absolutely.
years. Or I have a relationship of really just kind of passing affirmation with one of the grocery store clerks that I see,
Yeah.
and I hadn't seen her for quite a while, and the last time I saw her, she said she had been out taking care of her husband,
Mm.
who's disabled, and I just affirmed that she affirmed she doesn't know I'm a bishop or what I do, I just know
Yeah.
she's one of the
You're just a
grocery clerks at Kroger's, and
right.
so
Well, you're a person who's just acknowledged her. You've seen her.
mm,
She's
and
been
she's
seen.
seen me, she's seen me,
And
I come to the same store a lot, and so,
that's an awesome to be seen, to be acknowledged is so important. And so, having said that, let's bring our conversation around to this, and I just think this may be a way for us to send a great Christmas greeting to the listeners of the To Be Encouraged podcast. We're really talking here at the Christmas story is a story of a young woman, probably 14, 15 years old, who's unmarried, and her betrothed husband who went off to a faraway place to have a baby. And there was no room at the inn. There was, just a myriad of problems to be dealt with. Not funds, not a place to stay, poor transportation, no health care, a bunch of animals around, shepherds and other folks around. Pretty discouraging circumstances is what I'm trying to describe here, my friend. Pretty discouraging circumstances. And circumstances happen. And yet that was all turned around when Jesus was born, and then extraordinary things happened, as you read earlier from the scriptures. It was joy and wonder. I'd like you to take just a minute here, Bishop Trimble, to speak to those people who are feeling that discouragement, that place where, all seems lost, all seems at an end. It may be about our political environment. It may be about their circumstances, that they're not able to provide Christmas for people in their life like they would like to, because they are bombarded by the same messages you and I hear, about the home shopping network and about the latest phones and electronic gizmos and everything else. They're bombarded by the same thing. But how can we give some encouragement to those who are discouraged and encourage them? Because our podcast, you're on a mission to encourage 2 million people, and we know that Jesus did that out of his circumstances of discouragement and did that at the birth of Jesus. What would you say to those people who are pretty discouraged right now, and about the Christmas story, how it speaks to them?
well, I'd like to speak life into those persons who may be feeling this whole reality of affordability. Some people are not really worried about how many dolls they can buy. They want to know
Right,
if they have bread to make sandwiches at home, if
right.
they have any protein, any meat, any fruits, any vegetables. So I want to speak life into those and speak affirmation to our churches and those of you who are in a position to provide food for people who are hungry. Let's do that. Let's support that. Uh, um, and I also want to say, you need not, uh, you know, feel guilty about what you don't have. Uh, know what you do have, and one of
Mm,
that is there's a promise that was made to Joseph, and that promise actually wasn't just to Joseph, but it proverbiated throughout the Bible, and that was when the angel said, "Do not be afraid,
yes.
for what God has already provided and made provision for is for you and for all of the people." So that means all of us, all of you. The birth of Jesus Christ is for all of us. It is to affirm that you are loved. It is to affirm that you deserve access to health care. It is to affirm that you deserve to be able to provide food for your family and children. And I say we should make the commitment as people of faith and churches and people of goodwill to do all we can to make sure that people are while people are debating affordability,
Hmm.
that there are people who really can't afford the commercial side of Christmas. But
Yeah.
you can afford the blessing that comes from the birth of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You are loved, and Jesus comes with the message, "Do not be afraid."
Do not be afraid. You are loved. There's really, that is the encouraging word of Christmas to speak into a often discouraged world. And so, Bishop Julius C. Trimble, I just want to say a Merry and blessed Christmas to you and to your family. I know you want to express the same to our to be encouraged listening audience.
Yeah, absolutely. May a blessed Christmas to all of you. May the peace of Christ be with you. The love of God surround you, bless you as you come and as you go. If you're in cold places, please stay warm, find warm, and seek a place of worship. If you don't have one, we certainly encourage you because it is in those places that you may find a sense of belonging. And we want you to know that this podcast is designed with you in mind. To God be the glory. Merry Christmas and have a happy new year.
Well, thank you. You've been listening to the To Be Encouraged podcast with Bishop Julius C. Trimble. I'm your co-host, Reverend Dr. Brad Miller, and we are here to provide an encouraging word to an often discouraged world.